OCA Greater Houston's citizenship forums will be virtual. Please help us facilitate the process by filling out your application on Citizenship Works platform. Go online to citizenshipworks.org/portal/Houston and make sure to fill out all the information possible. If you have any questions, please email erica.chambers@ocahouston.org or call 281-968-9131 for the next steps. Make sure to fill out your application so you can join us online for the virtual visit.
Hi, today we're going to make some really cute little lanterns for Lantern Festival, which is the last day of Lunar New Year. It's the 15th day. It's a tradition that's lasted over 2,000 years. And what it symbolizes is brightness and good fortune. Okay, so brightness because of the lantern, and good fortune and really happiness because of the red color. So traditionally, these are made in red. Now, a lot of times, actually when we were kids, you would make lanterns, we would take, tin cans, right? And with a nail and draw our own design, and then with a nail and a hammer out our old design, and then actually put candles in it. Nowadays, you don't use candles anymore. You use those little LED tea lights. And then people make lanterns of all different types of materials, paper being the easiest. What we are going to do today is basically make a mini lantern, which once you make 2 or 3, you could actually string them up into a little mobile. So it's a really cute decoration. Or if you wanted to, you could actually cover the bottom and make it into a candy basket. But the main principle behind this is it's really easy because you just use a red envelope, any old red envelope. So at the beginning of Lunar New Year, you might have given or received a red envelope with some lucky money. And then what do you do with the money? Hopefully you have saved a portion of the money and spent part of it, right? But the envelope itself is still there. And this is a really great way of making, reusing something that you already have to make something that you can use to decorate your house. Now, we are using plain red envelopes. And one of the things I suggest is you could actually decorate it. You could take any kind of marker or pen. It would be really pretty as a gold pen and actually just draw circles around it. And the circles would symbolize unity, and the gold color symbolizes wealth on a red background for happiness. Okay, so these are the supplies, basic supplies you need. Some people make it with an X-Acto knife or a box cutter. For safety purposes, I'm going to show you how to do this with scissors, okay? If you have a ruler, that's great. You don't have to have a ruler. Scissors, you need. Child safety scissors work just as well. You want to have some double-sided tape, and then regular tape, and a pencil or pen. I just happen to have a pencil. Now, we're making it today with red envelopes. The same principles that we're making it, you could actually use red paper. I just have some red paper here just as an example. Or you could take any piece of 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper and just draw and decorate it. Because once you cut it and you open it up, it's still going to be a really pretty pattern. And with regular paper, you can use glue. So you could use a glue stick if you don't happen to have double-sided tape. But for red envelopes, you actually really do need to have tape, because glue will not stick to the red envelope material as easily. Okay, so let's get started. Put this to the side. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to cut open the envelope, all right? First, you cut off the flap, okay? And after you've cut the flap, then very carefully just pull the scissor up against the edge and then cut one side open. Just like that. And you're going to cut the bottom side. Now the side that I have cut, I just want to point something out to you. When they make envelopes, it's almost always folded and glued on one side, okay? That's the side that I chose to cut, all right? So you're literally just cutting along the fold. Now once you open it this way, you can either cut it or you can always tear it. I'm using the tearing thing just because I'm used to that, right? Now, I'm going to flip them both on the back side, the interior side. And on the interior side, you can see how this side is the part that was glued. So this piece of paper is thicker, right? So if you don't have a ruler, this is the edge that you can use as your ruler, right? Because it's thicker sheets of paper. Right? Now what you're doing is you basically want to have anywhere between a 3/4 to a 1/2 inch. Okay. So if you're eyeballing it like I am, you can see the width of this paper. You just want this to be maybe about half of this fold, right? And just take a ruler, pen or pencil, and just draw across the edge. Don't worry about drawing on it. It's the back, it's the inside, you're not going to see it, okay? And then you do the same thing. You want to approximate, it doesn't have to be exact. Okay. Now this is where most people will tell you that you would take a ruler and either draw lines and then take an X-Acto knife and or a box cutter and then start slicing into it. I find that to be extremely unsafe. And not everybody has a box cutter or an X-Acto knife lying around in their house, right? But almost everybody has a pair of scissors. So, what I'm going to show you is how to do this. You're going to fold it in half, right? And then you're just going to fold it in half again. And then here's where you can differ. You can either fold it in thirds, okay? Or if it's easier for you, you just fold it in half. So we are just folding it in half here, okay? And what has that done? Now if you open it up again, what you've now created are your cutting lines, all right? So you don't have to draw it. You can just follow the fold. And because you already had pencil marked, now you know where to start from. This is basically your start point and your end point. There's two ways of doing it, okay? What you're going to do is start from here. You're just cutting a little edge. Now some people will cut all the way to the end and then just end it right where the pencil mark is. That's actually a little bit difficult for some people. The easier way of doing it, we'll show you on this next fold. Right, so when you cut it open, it's like that. Okay, if you can see, just like that. The easier way is you have a starting point, and you cut it a little more than halfway or whatever you're comfortable with. All right, so you've done that. All right, and then we're just going to go through and just cut all of them on this side, and then we flip it around and we just use our starting point and cut the rest. So that way you don't have to worry about like, oh, am I cutting past that line on the other side? Don't need to worry about it. You're going to end up with the same exact result, and this is so much easier to control safely with scissors instead of having to use a box cutter or an X-Acto knife. And so because of that, anyone can do this, right? Anyone who can hold a pair of scissors. So this is a really great and easy thing that elementary school kids, kindergartner could do this. This is also, by the way, for young children, a really good way of training precise motor skills, of scissor skills. There are actually craft books out there specifically designed so that children can learn better hand and eye coordination using scissors. Okay, so we've cut ours like that. Now we're just going to go back to the other side using the same starting point. And we're going to cut. See? So it went all the way through. So you're basically just trimming the edge. There is no right or wrong to this, okay? It could be really, really close to the edge. It could be 1 millimeter in. Because your strips are wide, not going to matter. Your lantern is still going to turn out just as cute and pretty. Okay, now, see, we have everything cut out, right? Okay, so next what we're going to do is, we still have our line that we drew, we're going to fold that, right? We're going to fold it so that we can see the line just slightly. And what we're doing is basically folding the bottom edge of our lantern. Now normally, I probably would have made this just slightly thicker because then it's easier to tape. But there's pros and cons to that. All right? So we have our outside lampshade part, if you will, all ready to go. Okay? Now what we're going to do is we take the other piece, the back side of the red envelope, the part that has this fold over edge, okay, and we are just going to cut this edge off. So you already have a natural line. We're just going to cut this off. We're not throwing it away because we're still going to use it. This is a nice edge for us already there. See? Okay? We're going to keep this, all right, because we're going to use this for our handle. Okay, now we have this all cut. We're going to save this because we're going to make our handle with it. And take this. And there's actually two ways of doing it. Usually, you're going to use the red side, okay? But if this was something that you had actually drawn a pattern on that you wanted to see, you could actually put that side. So technically, you could take this piece and on the clear or the white side, you could draw a pattern or design, whatever it is that you want to show. But the easiest, quickest way. And if you can't get one long piece of tape like this, that is fine. You can always just do another piece and add on. Wow, I literally got the entire thing. Okay, so here you're going to take the edge that we just folded and you're going to stick it down. You're going to line it up. And you're just going to stick it down across. Across that edge. Okay? And then you're going to do the same thing on this side, and you see how your lamp shade essentially pops out. See, so now you can just turn it. Okay. Now on the end over here, what you're going to do is you're actually going to cut off one part, just one strip off the lampshade. All right, one strip off. Then you're going to take another piece of double-sided tape. You can use two pieces if you want, but I find that one piece will generally hold it. Okay? Just looping it around, and you're going to have the other side match. Just like that. Right? There. And you now have your lampshade. Okay. And then the strip that we had from before, you're going to cut it in half, approximate, okay? And you just take your regular tape and turn it. And then depending on where you want to put it and how high you want it to be, you just drop it in and just tape it to the sides. And there you are. The perfect mini lantern. So I hope you enjoy that. Make many and hang them around. They will bring light, good fortune, and happiness for this new year. We wish everyone a great year this year. Thank you.
OCA, Asian Pacific American Advocates, is a national nonprofit organization dedicated to advancing the social, political, and economic well-being of Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. Based in Washington, D.C., with over 50 chapters around the country, we engage in issues like immigration, education, and fair treatment, among many others. We also provide resources and programs in order to build a pipeline of AAPI leaders so that our community can have a seat at every table.